Hey folks, Jesse here from Onion Grass Gardens. Today we are going to be talking about 10 things that I like to see on seed packets when I'm shopping around, right? We're heading into winter and I'm looking at seeds for the following season, and specifically for my food forest that I'm attempting to build. So we're going to be looking at 5 things I appreciate seeing on seed packets, 5 essentials I'm looking for, and one that I'm just a sucker for. And if seed companies wanted to get me impulse buying, they would include this stuff all the time. Let's get to it. Let's start this off with things I appreciate in no particular order. The first one I'm going to start with is any seed pack that says things are easy to grow. It's tough being out here in the elements, and I don't have the time or patience to baby an entire garden along. So I want plants that want to live here. So my first thing is anything that says it's easy to grow. Second of all, if you have any kind of vegetable or fruit that has unusual stats, for example, it's a 3-foot long cucumber or a 500-pound pumpkin or whatever, I appreciate you including those stats. And also, if you include the stats if the vegetable or fruit is smaller than usual, because sometimes the pictures on the packs, the fruits and vegetables are all the same size in the picture, but in real life things vary. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate any of those stats listed in very obvious places on the pack. All right, so number three is nutrition. I appreciate it if your seed pack includes nutritional facts. For example, this vegetable is full of vitamin K or A or B12 or C or whatever, right? I know I don't look it, but I'm pushing 50, okay? Gen Xer, pushing 50. And the young face, I know, is deceiving, but whatever. The hot flashes say differently. Anyway, I want to hold on to whatever scraps of health I can on the next 40 years or so of my life. So, nutrition. I appreciate nutritional labeling. Number 4, things I appreciate seeing on labels is anything that tells me what the food is good for. Now, obviously, like I know what a tomato is good for, but if it was specially bred for purees and canning, if it's especially bred for dehydrating, I appreciate seeing those things on my seed labels. Likewise for unusual vegetables and fruit that maybe not everybody knows what to do with, like ground cherries and Jerusalem artichokes and things of that nature. I appreciate you listing, is it medicinal? Is it good for pies and jams and freezing? Does it make good fruit leather? What is this good for? If you've put that on your seed packet, I appreciate you and I'm looking for it. This one might seem obvious, but my number 5 thing of things I appreciate seeing on seed packets is specifically listing any disease or pest resistances. I think that one's pretty obvious and doesn't need explaining. Next, we're going to be talking about the 5 essential things that I'm looking for on seed packets. And even if you're in a different region to mine, these are still things that are good to think about. Seed packets that specifically speak to your region or climate or soil type. And we're going to be looking at my 5 essentials that I am looking for. All right, first one. Thrives in heavy soil, clay soil, rocky soil. That one is the most beautiful description I have ever seen on a seed packet. And if I had a winner of best packet description I've read all year, it would go to the Oxheart Carrot from the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, because it literally says that it does well in clay soils. You basically get a stumpy fat carrot. And when I read the seed description on this, the words that popped out of my mouth were, "That's my carrot." Coming in next at the second essential thing we're looking at, they're kind of all in a group together. Anything that says heat tolerant and slow to bolt. This year in July, we had an entire month where the entire month was 90 or above with like 90% humidity. It was pretty awful. We did get rain, but we had high heat, and I had plants that failed under those conditions, including most of my rhubarb. So that's one of the things I'm looking for on seed packets. Can it tolerate the heat here? And more specifically, can it tolerate the weather? One of the issues I contend with here in Eastern Tennessee, Zone 7A, is weather. A lot of places in the world do this nice little ramp into changing seasons, where in the fall you get this nice slowly getting cooler until finally you hit winter. You do a nice little transition from rain into snow. And Tennessee doesn't do that, at least not where I'm at. I don't know, maybe if you're in a different part, you can tell me what it does there. But where I'm at, we kind of go into what I call weather throws, where the weather just kind of violently flops back and forth between all of the seasons until it's suddenly winter. To give you an idea of these temperature extremes, we're at the end of November now, but at the beginning of November, on November 7th, we had heavy rain, thunderstorms, and a tornado watch in effect. By the following day, we had a little bit of morning fog, which was rather nice, and a beautiful sunny afternoon the following day. 2 days later, it snowed. And it wasn't just snowing, it was blizzard conditions, and we had a low of 19 degrees, which in Celsius, I believe, is about a -7. And then 2 days later, after our blizzard-like conditions, it was sunny and the high was almost 70, which if you're converting to Celsius is around 22. So in the period of a single week, we had a 50-degree spread if you're looking at Fahrenheit, and we had tornado conditions, sunny conditions, and blizzard conditions in the period of a week. And what does that mean for my seeds? Well, what that means is I need seeds that tolerate a wide variety of weather conditions. I need the hardiest, toughest seeds I can find. Number 3, I'm looking at regionalism. So because I am in the South, I am looking for words on my seed packet that specifically say that these crops are good in the South in muggy conditions, in raining conditions, in hot conditions. Anything that says it's an heirloom of Appalachia, anything that says it's an heirloom of the South, any of those I'm looking for. But kind of on the same note, but a little different, I'm also looking for heirlooms from Asia and specifically Japan. Specifically Japan because I lived there for 3 years and I'm familiar with the conditions, and they're very similar to here. If you look at a map of the globe with Tennessee and Japan, we are actually on the same latitudinal lines. We are within the same region. So if I was able to travel exactly due west long enough or exactly due east long enough, I would eventually hit Japan. And the thing about Japan and Tennessee, both are muggy, both are affected by hurricane weather from an ocean to the east. We both get monsoon type weather. Both get snow, so a lot of the conditions are very similar. So I'm also prioritizing Japanese heirlooms in my garden because I think they're going to do well here in Tennessee. That's my theory. All right. Number 4 priority, we are looking at anything that says it's highly productive, reliable, or prolific. We like seeing those words because in the end, I am gardening and building a food forest to feed me and my family. And I want reliable food, reliable production, heavy production if possible, right? So those are key phrases that I'm looking for on my seed packets. Finally, the last one that is an essential for me is the word perennial, and specifically, very specifically for vegetables, because I am growing a food forest and specifically building a food forest. And I use the word building because, unlike gardens that are full of annuals, I'm not planting and replanting it every year. I'm planting things and expanding and planting things and expanding with perennials that will continue to produce across years so that I can plant them once and just maintain them. And one of the problems that you will discover very quickly when you go to create a food forest, specifically with perennial vegetables, is that they're hard to find. Once you've planted your asparagus and your artichokes and your sunchokes or Jerusalem artichokes, you're kind of left flat. And everything else that says it's a perennial is a fruit. And while fruit is great, it's wonderful and nutritious, there's only so much of it you can eat. And so this year I've spent a lot of time investigating other perennial vegetables, things like tree spinach, things like perennial kale, perennial scallions, perennial leeks. And so when I find anything that says it's a perennial vegetable of any sort, a perennial spice, perennial flowers, I prioritize those because I am trying to build year by year a larger and more diverse food system in my yard. And in order to do that, I need perennials. All right, finally, the closer. The one thing I am a sucker for. This is the thing that there's no logic in it. It's just we all have something we're a sucker for, right? And this is my gardener weakness. And that is any plant that says the word tastes like and ends with something different than that plant. So for example, the reason I have a Chojuro pear in my food forest is because in the description it said that it tastes like butterscotch when allowed to ripen on the tree. Are you telling me I can grow something that tastes like butterscotch? Yes. The reason I have a sunflower pawpaw tree is because in that description it basically told me it tastes like banana cream pie. Of course I'm going to grow a fruit that tastes like banana cream pie. And recently I bought ground cherries, pineapple ground cherries. Why? Because I'm weak. Because I want to go into my garden and pick berry-sized things that taste like pineapple. Like who doesn't want that? So anyway, thanks for joining me today. Please like, subscribe, and if you have any favorites of things you're looking for in your seed packs this winter, definitely leave them in the comments below. If you have anything you're completely weak about and will buy every time you see it, leave that in the comments below too. Or if I've missed anything, let me know. It was great seeing you today, and thanks for watching.